If you're anything like us, you've likely got no shortage of loose ends dangling in Skyrim, despite the numerous hours you've logged into your journeys. Dawngaurd, the game's first downloadable expansion, is good for a dozen or so more. Its lengthy quest line spans some of the most remote parts of the region, embroiling you in an ancient struggle rife with lore and consequence. And at $20, it's got an asking price to suit. Is a walk on the wilder, darker reaches of Tamriel worth a substantial investment?
What's happening?
If you're at least level 10, you can start to delve down Dawngaurd's rabbit hole. It all begins innocuously enough. Vampire attacks are on the rise, a few stalwart, if somewhat fanatical citizens have taken it upon themselves to fight back. The thread begins at Fort Dawngaurd, named after the fang-hunting military order that's in the midst of a reformation. Not long after you're deputized to the cause, you're sent on an errand to investigate an ancient vampire artifact. As it turns out, you end up rescuing the most lively sociopathic vampire princess in video game history. Not long after you acquire this new companion, you're herded toward her ancestral home, where the most powerful vampires in Skyrim reside. Long story short, her spooky daddy gives you a choice: become a vampire lord, which is a cut above the regular icky virus carriers you've encountered pre-expansion, or leave the fort, rejoin the Dawngaurd, and be forever branded a foe. Capitulation has its benefits. If you become a vampire lord, you can transform at will into a twisted, frightful monster, complete with its own perk tree that you upgrade by draining the life force of your enemies. It works similar to the lycanthropy mechanic you acquire as part of the companion quests, which has also been buffed with a perk tree of its own. Similar to the werewolf game, however, shifting into a vampire lord comes with the drawback of completely overwriting everything else about your character. The act of transformation is also kludgy enough to discourage you from shifting back and forth mid-fight, which turns every encounter into a tedious decision. Will you fight as yourself with all your weapons, spells, and shouts at your disposal, or go in as a vampire? Cool as some of the powers may be, they're competing against a magic dragon language that lets you do some frankly impressive stuff. If you forego the fangs, membership in the Dawngaurd lets you access to some pretty beefy weapons, including crossbows that pack a wallop. We can't help but feel, though, that doing so goes against the expansion's overriding assumption. A lot of the work was put into fleshing out the Vampire Lord perk tree, and if you're going to take the plunge for $20 and a dozen or so hours, you're going to want to see that stuff. Dawngaurd is by no means skimpy any way you look at it, but then again, there's a high likelihood that you've still got plenty of Skyrim left to explore. If you're hungering for novelty, you'll get plenty of it here, but smart money is on waiting till the asking price is a bit more reasonable.
Enjoy the Dawngaurd?